Hey there everyone, Sage Popham here, founder of the School of Evolutionary Herbalism. And today I'm going to be talking about working with astrology in your herbal practice. And specifically, when you're looking at someone's astrological chart, how do you determine what the strongest planetary influence is? You know, there's multiple ways that we assess an astrological chart to see kind of what the dominant archetypes are within a chart. But there's a few different ways that we do it from the perspective of medical astrology when we're really focusing on, our physical body, our physical health, our organ systems, our constitution, and things like that. That are a little bit different from the way we do it in, I guess, more of a psychologically oriented approach to astrology. So this is a really important thing for folks that are practicing astro-herbalism to understand, because when you're working with a person, it's very important to come to understand what are the dominant astrological forces in that person's life as a whole by looking at the natal chart, and even right now specifically through looking at transits and sometimes progressions as well. So this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about what to look for in the chart to determine those very strong planetary influences and sometimes sign influences in the chart from the perspective of medical astrology. So thanks so much for joining me in this video. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. It does help to support the channel so we can continue to produce good free content for you. And really appreciate you taking the time to be a part of what we share here. So thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy learning a little bit more about finding the strongest planetary influences in a medical chart. Question number 1 from Kayla Lurie in Astro-Herbalism is asking, I'm wondering how you determine the strongest planetary influence in a chart. For a chart that has a few planets placed in positions of strength, are they all important, or is there one that has the most influence over the chart? For example, if a chart has the Sun exalted in Aries, Venus in Taurus, Saturn conjunct the nadir, and Jupiter conjunct the AC, and has a singleton in the top left corner, how would you determine which planet has the strongest influence? Yeah, great question, Kayla. So yeah, I mean, all those things that you're listing there would be planets that are considered important or have a stronger influence over the chart, right? So I think an important factor to remember here is that we're really focusing on, I'll speak for myself, I'm usually focusing on more the medical orientation towards astrology, right? So we're really looking at what are the most important planets from a medical perspective in terms of really influencing the physical body and things like that. So there are, as you have learned in astro-herbalism, specific areas of the chart that do have a stronger influence over the body, over our health, over the constitution, and things like that. So the first one would be anything conjunct the ascendant. Hands down, immediately, very important from a medical perspective, because that planet, think of the rising sign. When we're talking in terms of, personality or psychologically based astrology, that rising sign is like, what's the energy that's emerging out from you, right? It's like what people see. It's like your personality. It's how you interface with the world, right? And whereas your sun is kind of like deeper inside. It's your essence. It's the core of who you are. It's the part of you that, the people that know you really, really well, they understand that solar part of your being. Everyone else, they're really interfacing with your rising sign. But it's that energy that's rising up and out of you, right? And it's also the energy that is rising up and out of your body, right? So it's what is determining so much of your physical constitution, right? Is that rising sign. Generally speaking, there are sometimes other factors that might trump that, you know, especially something like a stellium, right? If you have 5 planets in a single sign, more often than not, depending on what planets we're talking, but more often than not, that sign might be hold a stronger sway over the constitution than the rising sign, or a planet conjunct the rising sign. But if there is a planet conjunct the rising sign, in my opinion, that's one of the most important planets to consider when you're assessing a person and you're just getting a feel for their physical tendencies, characteristics, the nature of their body, their excesses, their deficiencies, their weaknesses, and things like that, their strengths. Things that are conjunct the ascendant are very, very important. From there, I would say things that are in the 6th house, right, from a health perspective, become very important and powerful planets there. So the 6th house is the house of health. It's the house of kind of your daily rhythm, your daily routine, the things that you do each and every day that either contribute to your health or contribute to lack of health. And so pardon the noise, they're banging away downstairs. So, you know, considering those factors of the 6th house, very important from a medical perspective. And especially, you know, if you have, say, you know, let's just say, for example, you have Libra ruling the 6th house. Libra's at the 6th house cusp. And so what is the planet associated with Libra? It's Venus. Well, then you look at where Venus is in the chart and say maybe Venus is in Taurus, right? Which is its other sign of rulership. Well, that Venus now from a medical perspective is doubly strong. It's ruling the house of health, and it's in the sign that it also rules, right? The second sign that it rules. So Venus just became a very key player here, right? The same is true, say, you know, you mentioned here, Jupiter is on the ascendant. Well, maybe the 6th house is being ruled by Pisces or Sagittarius, both of which are ruled by Jupiter. And it's conjunct the ascendant. That just became a very critical planet from a medical perspective. So I think those are really, just to keep it very simple, the most important areas to look. And, you know, I think the other important thing to consider here when we're talking about what planets are really strong and how to determine, you know, right, there's all these factors that we look at for determining planetary strength, right? Planets in their sign of rulership, planets in their sign of exaltation, as you mentioned, singleton planets sometimes can be very powerful. That would be like a planet all by itself, like either in the top half or the lower half or the left half or the right half of the chart. I think it's great to look at those things and to follow those things, but remember the person that you're talking about, right? Remember the person whose chart that you're looking at. Don't just analyze the chart, right? Analyze the person. And that's really my approach with medical astrology. Like, I really like to use the chart to support and back up and confirm or clarify what I'm working within the person, right? That I'm actually looking at the person, I'm getting to understand their constitution, I'm getting to understand their tendencies, their health concerns, the things they're struggling with. And then I'll go to the chart and I'll use that to help confirm that, right? I'm not just shooting in the dark of like, well, you know, these planets are in their sign of rulership and these planets are in their sign of exaltation and there's this singleton here. Which one's more important than the other? Well, the best way to figure that out is to look at the person, look over your case notes, ask them clarifying questions, things that will help you to determine that, right? It definitely doesn't have to be a guesswork, and it definitely doesn't have to be kind of this, I guess, over analyzing of the chart, right? It can like work with the chart and in conjunction with working with the person, right? I think that's a really important point for people that are using astrology in their practice of herbal medicine, that it is just one of many tools in your toolbox. And, you know, you would never have someone take a picture of their tongue, send it in an email and say, hey, build me an herb formula just based on my tongue, right? it's the same as that. You can't just look at a chart and put together an effective herb protocol for a person just by looking at their chart. I feel like maybe people that are really good at it can, but I just feel like it's very important to work with the person too, and that the chart is just another tool that you have in your toolkit for determining what is going on with that person on a fundamental level and how you can best support them with your medicinal plants. So thanks for the question, Kayla. It's a really, really good question, and I feel like is an important thing to discuss in terms of working with medical astrology and herbal medicine and how to find a balance between the two. So yeah, thanks for the great question, and I hope that clarified it for you.